Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. I am indeed Captain Logan. Joining me, as always, is my chat moderator and producer, DJ Martinez. DJ, I can't hear you, man.
Oh.
Yeah, get used to this whole having a mute button thing. Yeah, we got all fancy, and now DJ doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, oh my god, how does this show work?
I'm in over my head, guys.
We are back. It's time for another rousing adventure in the world of Geekvolution. Tonight, we're going to chat about whatever you guys want to talk about. It's going to be a full hour of Ask Me Anything, as alluded to by the thumbnail, the beautiful, lovely thumbnail by my also thumbnail maker man, DJ Martinez. DJ does everything that's not just me prattling on, really. If it's not me put on a suit and talking, it's DJ probably did it. But tonight, we are going to talk some about the Morbius trailer and the very confusing oddity. There are so many precedents in superhero movies the last few years that you never thought would get said, and just really weird, bizarre stuff, man. Nothing surprises me anymore, although this did a little bit. But we're going to talk about that. I'm sure that'll come up, so, somebody probably asked it already, and we'll talk about that. It would be weird if it didn't come up because we put it in the thumbnail. And we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about for an hour. If you'd like to see us go longer tonight, if you want to hang out for an extra hour, we have a $60 goal tonight for Super Chats. So, as always, if you want to make sure that your question or your comment or your topic gets addressed on camera, you can leave a Super Chat for any dollar amount, and that helps us keep the train chugging along here on Geekvolution. We sure appreciate anybody who does or has ever done that. And if you don't want to do that, of course, just leave a pre-written question. We'll get to as many of those as we can as well, and we appreciate you just being here. But if you want to make sure that you get to chat with us for double the time tonight, the goal is $60. And if we hit that by 8:10 my time, because we are 10 minutes past time already, this is really unusual for us, DJ. We usually start right on time.
So uncharacteristic.
So make sure we get to $60 by then if you'd like to go a little bit longer tonight. By a little bit, I mean double the time. And the next week, of course, we'll be back to another episode of Captain Logan After Dark. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I see a bunch of folks here in the comments. Look, we got Blue Dragon 5, we got Mark Guerrero, we got Motale, we got T-Edge 1, we got Gengar Venom, AMC Comics is here, Matthew Bass is here, Carl Maxey's here. Bunch of folks, you guys are great. Thanks a bunch for joining us and hanging out with us. DJ, I'm so excited to make the magic happen, sir.
Oh, me too, man. Me too. We got loads of questions tonight. No shortage this evening.
Wow. Well, I guess we should go ahead and just launch into it, unless you have any rousing preamble to rival my own.
No, I'm all roused out after your preamble. So I'll jump right into...
Real quick before you do that, because I always have something else, I just want to mention that I did see, because I know people are going to ask about this, and this is... What usually happens is I say a thing, and then DJ goes, that's funny, that's just what I was about to ask. We'll see if that happens this time. But I did indeed see the last 2 episodes of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I am putting up a video about that tonight. I haven't quite got that finished edited, but that'll be up overnight, so if you want to hear me prattle on about that, it's more of a rant than a review, really, but if you want to hear me talk about that, that'll be up a little bit later. I'm happy to field questions about that tonight as well, but you may end up hearing some of what I say tonight again. Let's go ahead and get right into stuff. DJ, throw me maybe 2 pre-written questions before we get to the initial Super Chats. Go ahead.
Sure thing. This is admittedly, through the question asker, a little minor, he says. It's from Cinematographic, but he's still curious. Is there anything remotely optimistic about being a Green Lantern?
We only take major questions here, man. It's got to be relevant. It's got to be news from the last 48 hours. We are on the pulse of the nation, as Vince says. Okay, so what do you ask? Pros and cons to being a Green Lantern, or just?
Well, he just said, "Is there anything remotely optimistic about being a Green Lantern?" So he's coming at it from a stance.
Yeah, clearly. He's got a perspective in that question. It's fun when people kind of throw out loaded
Leading
questions.
The witness.
You know, it's like so why is Green Lantern the worst movie ever made? It's that kind of question. I mean, I guess the optimistic thing is if the Green Lanterns are doing their jobs well, they're intergalactic peacekeepers, and that's probably a good thing. As long as they're not impinging on anybody's rights or anything. But as far as like actually being a Green Lantern, it's probably a selfless job, just like being a cop often is, or being a superhero often is. It's probably more dangerous than being like a regular planetary run-of-the-mill superhero, I suppose. But like, I don't know. I think optimistic is kind of a weird word there. I don't really know what you're getting at there. Like, I don't think just because you're a Green Lantern means that like the world's gonna end. I mean, it's like it's supposed to be a positive thing. You're trying to enact positive change, help people out, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he clarifies. He only asks because whenever humans get chosen to be a lantern, they tend to act like they're always ticked off about something.
Well, that's true. Yeah, Green Lanterns tend to have attitudes. But then the question is, see, that's the chicken and the egg thing. That's a really interesting question. Because then what you're really asking is, did they get that way? Are they disgruntled because they're a Green Lantern? Or is that synonymous with will?
Hmm.
Like, do you have to already have a little bit of that kind of uptightness in order to want to be a Green Lantern in the first place? Because you're right, but I don't know that they all have that in common, right? Like, there are some more kind of stoic or Green Lanterns or Green Lanterns that just seem to kind of let stuff wash off them. Like, they don't all have exactly the same attitude. I'm just going with your premise, like, if that were the case. But, not everybody is a Guy Gardner.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that will is like by definition synonymous with hard-headedness and like
No, I wouldn't either,
yeah.
generally
So,
speaking, but
but they could go hand in hand. I can see that. Um.
like beans and cornbread.
Oh, here we go.
They
Beans and
go
cornbread.
hand in hand.
Blue Dragon 5 asks Cap, who would you like to see? I know you love these questions, Cap. Who would you love to see direct Doctor Strange
Dang
2?
The Wrath of Khan. Yeah, well, it's not gonna matter what I say, right? Because it's not, because it sounded, so they haven't actually picked a replacement director yet, right?
I do not believe so.
Like, I don't think that's come out yet. So what sounded really neat about that was that it was going to maybe be kind of a horror film. And so immediately my mind just goes to horror directors, but they're not going to replace the guy that had that vision with somebody that has that same vision. So honestly, like, I don't want to cop out when I say this, but like, it doesn't really matter who directs it because it's going to be a real, I mean, I hate to sound cynical about this, but it's going to be a real toe the company line kind of thing, right? Like, they're going to pick somebody that makes the movie they really want to see, which is going to be probably a little bit more of the same, or at least feel more in step with the standard Marvel formula, as it were. So, like, I don't know. It doesn't really matter who they pick at this point. Like, even if it's somebody that is kind of like a visionary director, they're not going to get to do their thing with it. Kind of a Marvel-directed movie, probably. And I guarantee you whoever they pick will be somebody I've never heard of.
Yeah, Blue Dragon 5, in that same question, says a little bit more. On one hand, we get an Ant-Man, and on the other hand, we could get a Thor the Dark World.
Well, that's a really good point.
It's funny because I put both of those like at the same level for me because I both those movies, but I see what he's saying.
I apologize for the connection issues tonight. DJ and I are having a little bit of a lag issue. I don't know what's been going on with my internet for the last couple of days. I was a little bit concerned about this, but hopefully it clears up a little bit. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't have a great answer for that. But that's a good point. Like, I guess, I don't know. It's awkward. Like, I say toe the company line, but they tend to let directors kind of do what they want as long as it's in line enough with the stuff they usually make. Like, it seems like there's kind of levels to that. So I guess the question is, does it get more comedic? Do they look for, kind of a comedic director or somebody that will do that kind of thing? Because that's what I imagine, is that it goes from a sort of pseudo-horror film. It was never going to be full-on horror, probably. Or maybe that's what he wanted to make, and that's why he left. But, like, I don't think there was any way that was ever going to be a full-on horror thing. But I bet it goes from pseudo-horror movie to movie kind of playing at that a little bit, but, like, that has kind of, throw-in-your-face laughs every 5 minutes. I think it's more likely that it ends up going that way. But I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't want to immediately say that, just because Marvel and that director, I can't remember his name, had creative differences means that will be a terrible movie. But it's probably not going to be what it sounded like. What it sounded like sounded awesome. So, I don't know. It's also possible that that guy simply... I had this thought. Tell me what you think of this, DJ, if you're still able to listen. Oh, there he is. Good. I wonder if it's possible that the issue isn't fully tonal. Is it possible that it's more with that title, Multiverse? Feige and Marvel want a bunch of like multiversal fan service stuff, where they want to set up, X-Men FF, that kind of stuff with it. And he just didn't want to have to deal with that kind of stuff. Is it possible that's more what it is?
I don't know.
Because that title strikes me as a business move more than anything, where they're saying, like, we are a multiverse now, and we are going to have different dimensions and things. And I also had this thought. I wonder if it was called that if it weren't for the success of Into the Spider-Verse. It's just fun.
Really? You think that's a business? You think that's a selling point? That turns me off. I think that turns most people
You are
off.
in the minority.
No. Most people don't. Normal people don't want multiverse stories.
I don't think you're right about that. I think the general public gets excited about that, especially because they haven't read and watched nearly as much of it as us comic readers have, and as just people that have looked at anything that's not the Marvel movies and superhero stuff in the last 10 years. I think that's absolutely a selling point, at least in Disney's mind, and I think, like I said, Into the Spider-Verse could have something to do with that.
Wow.
Just a thought.
That is crazy.
I could be totally off base on that. But think about it. Think of all the fan speculation over the last few years about whether X-Men would be in a different dimension, and if they were going to do a multiversal crossover thing with that. And also keep in mind that we know they're going to bring Deadpool in the MCU, and there's also been talk that New Mutants is supposed to be MCU, which is insane, by the way. Just absolute baffling, like crazy banana pants. And then we're doing the same thing with Morbius, and we'll talk about this later on, I'm sure, where that's also supposed to, like clearly be MCU. Now, I don't think that was the plan when they originally greenlit that, and I imagine that has something to do with the new Sony deal. I don't know if that would have even been there if it weren't for that falling apart and then coming back together. I don't know, though. It's really hard to say what exactly that is, and of course we'll get into it. And I'm curious to know what you guys' thoughts are on that, because I'm sure some people have better insights about that than I do. But I'm just saying that if where they're going is a multiversal direction, DJ, it might not just be about a selling point. It might be about just being upfront with people and trying not to confuse them. Like one of the very next movies that they make has multiverse in the title to let you know they're doing that now. I think there's some intentional communication there.
No, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Speaking of X-Men, Mutale asks thoughts on the New Mutants trailer, and I haven't seen this, so I'll defer to you.
I didn't get... So I heard a lot of people, like, really, really excited about it after that. We're like, man, I expected that to look like an absolute, train wreck, given that it was it was filmed, like, 4 years ago now, like 3 or 4 years ago now. And we had that first teaser trailer, like, 2 years ago? A year and a half, 2 years ago? And finally, we're getting a trailer, and we're being told that it is definitely coming out this year, and here's the date. And so I think people were just glad that it didn't look like the worst thing ever. I didn't really get anything new from it than I did from the teaser trailer. So, like, everything I have to say is what I said before. It looks like that could break new ground for superhero movies, I guess in a way that the new Doctor Strange movie probably won't now, since it was supposed to be a horror film, and this looks like an actual horror film. So, ironically, Fox got there before Disney did, but it was several years ago, and it's just now coming out, and it's coming out late enough that it is Disney that is putting it out. That's crazy. And we're being told it's MCU now. But, I don't have any new thoughts. I hope it doesn't end up being, a dumpster fire. Given how long it was sitting around, and they weren't releasing it even before Disney bought Fox. But I don't know all the reasons for that. We know there were a lot of reshoots. It's one of those projects, so it could be Dark Phoenix all over again, or it could surprise everybody. Who knows? I think it's kind of surreal now that we know for sure this is going into the theater with all that speculation for so long that it might never get released or it might just be a Hulu drop. It's we're gonna get to see it now. And they're doing everything they can to make us think it's relevant, which is interesting because I couldn't tell if Fox was really behind that project after they kept pushing it back. You know, I thought that might be, again, like in a Fan Four Stick or a Dark Phoenix situation where they're like, ooh, I don't know, we better fix it. And now Disney is acting gung-ho about it. That's really interesting. They want it to look relevant as much as possible. That does not mean it's good. It could be that they're going to try really hard to dupe people into thinking that it's okay enough and use that to springboard into their X-Men. I don't know. We'll see what that's like. I'm also curious to see how close that... I know I'm talking about this a long time. I'm also curious to see tonally how close that is, you know, if it feels at all like it belongs in the Singer X-Men universe. Because if it does... and they say it's MCU, and they're using that to springboard us into their X-Men, then that could totally end up looking closer to the previous franchise than anybody is anticipating.
No, respect for them for looking confident about it.
I guess,
whether it's good or not.
But it also could be a hysterical bluff. It could be just the best bluff ever. Where it's
Can't
like,
be worse than...
no, okay, I guess that did suck. But, you know, the money was already spent, so what are you going to do?
I don't think it's possible to lose more money than Dark Phoenix did.
Muchali says it's Josh Boone's original vision. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he means that somehow we know it's not compromised. I don't know how we'd know that, but
You know, unless he's come out and said that, but he could just be saying that for the company. I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, I've not looked deeply into that. It's always funny when people say stuff like that, where it's like, no, this is exactly what I wanted to come out, and then you're like, there's no way. You know, I still say that with Nolan and Dark Knight Rises, where it's like no, this was scene for scene. We didn't write anything else. We didn't shoot anything else. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
We have one super chat, and it might be a bit of a doozy here.
A doozy.
Hope you're ready for this. John
Okay.
Ty says, "Are we lonely on the internet because our constant need for validation for our own opinion?"
Are we lonely on the internet?
I guess is he saying, are those of us who do this lonely? I guess is what he's saying.
Our constant validation. Okay, yeah, no, I'm glad I have an interpreter. I mean, the short answer is yes, right? I think there are lots of folks that go to the internet looking for their opinions to be validated by somebody else, justified by somebody else, backed up in some way, and because you know, they're not finding that in real life. But I think it's also sometimes as simple as they're not even able to have the conversations and the interactions about the things that they want to talk about with anybody in their regular real life, so they go to the internet. But I think regardless of which motivation that is, those both can easily lead to looking desperate and you know, craving attention. So yeah. I don't really have anything else to add right now.
Thanks, John Ty. We just got another super chat.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Another super chat from T-Edge1.
T-Edge1.
Another $5.
T-Edge1.
He says, my understanding is, it sounds like a TV station. Is it not? Is it like a music channel?
Oh, yeah. Tune in this Friday to T-Edge1.
He says, my understanding is going to be my understanding is it's going to be like Netflix TV. Sony can use anything in their movies except MCU owned like Iron Man. Holmes will be canon with both. So he's just jumping right into the Morbius thing, I guess.
Holmes?
Holmes. He spelled it Holmes, but he means I think he means Toombs.
Oh, Toombs?
Adrian Toombs.
Oh yeah, I'm like, who's like when does Sherlock Holmes enter into this equation? I'm so confused. Yes, I agree with that. I think that's also likely to be what this ends up looking like. I think from Sony's side, a part of me is glad that they revealed their hand on this early and in a trailer, because that way this won't be the only thing we talk about when that movie comes out. But
yeah.
I guess we shouldn't be wholly surprised about this, right? Because so the thing I'm surprised about is not so much that a character from the Marvel movies is being advertised already in the Morbius trailer, because we knew, or I'm sorry, is in that movie. The thing I'm surprised by is that it's Keaton and that we know about it this early. That's the part I'm surprised by. We know that they planned on using the same actor, the same Spider-Man, if their deal with Marvel fell through. Furthermore, we knew that they were intending on putting Spider-Man in the next Venom movie, and that it was supposed to be that version. Now, I don't know if that's still happening, but there was a lot of talk about that. And has it been all but confirmed that there was a cameo shot with Tom Holland that was cut out of the first Venom movie? I heard that running around a lot, but I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, no, I always thought that was like rumor territory, but maybe so.
I don't know. There's just so much we don't know. And the big thing I don't understand is exactly how the rights work out. Because and I think it's the rights thing that has a lot of people kind of freaking out about this, because just a few months ago, I mean, this seems so ironclad. DJ made a thumbnail about it. We thought that Spider-Man was out of the MCU. Out am I? And the big question at that point was, okay, how much of what they've set up in Marvel, if we're going forward with the same Spider-Man and pretending like it's in the same canon, can they even talk about in the Sony movies? Can they even include in any way at all? And now what I'm wondering is if this means, because we know that Sony is the company that makes these movies. It's hard to tell. I hear people argue about this all the time. I'm personally not completely sure where Marvel's jurisdiction ends and where Sony's begins. Like, I don't It seems like Sony is producing those movies and distributing them, and Marvel has and they have a connection to the Marvel movies, and they can use those characters, and one or both of those companies has a big stake in it being very connected to the Marvel movies. There've been all those, again, kind of unsubstantiated claims, unsubstantiated as far as I can tell, that each villain must be connected to an MCU hero already, and that's why Spider-Man doesn't seem to really have his own rogues gallery yet. That they're all kind of connected to some other characters. So and so far, the first two have just been pissed off at Tony Stark, and then Spider-Man comes in because Tony's not around. So I say all this to say this. DJ, I don't know if Sony and Marvel's deal fell through tomorrow, if Sony does not have the rights to all of the Spider-Man characters and actors that have been in their connected Marvel universe. If Toomes shows up in this, if they lose that, can he be in 3? I don't know the answer to that. Or in 3. Can he be in any other movie that they might make down the road? Mm-hmm. I don't know the answer to that. But if they have, and somebody tell me if somehow you know, and if you can, back up the report. But it seems to me that this is a smart business move on their part, twofold. One, to tell everybody this Morbius thing you've never heard of is going to matter to you because it's going to be connected to something you already care about. That's clearly why that's there. And the second thing is getting a bunch of characters in. A bunch of, who knows how many, but getting characters that we already care about or know about from MCU Spider-Man stuff in their movies, so that it won't jar anybody as hard if they lose that whole deal with Marvel, and then use those characters again down the road. And like I said earlier, my big question is, was this going to happen regardless of that deal almost falling through, or was this always the plan? Whole bunch of questions. Big, giant question mark.
Yeah. So I'll just get into a couple comments that other people had about this topic now that we're into it. Mutale says it's probably just end of the movie cameo, just like the trailer.
Too. That's exactly what I said right away when I saw that. And keep in mind, that is Sony's MO for advertising. They do this kind of crap all the time. The big famous one I always like to complain about is we saw the final frame of Amazing 2 in the 5.5 minute trailer for Amazing 2.
Glad I didn't watch that trailer, because that's an awesome scene.
It's a manhole cover in your face, credits.
Some other people are asking what we thought about the poster being of a picture of the PS4 game, the Sam Raimi suit.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I think the prop department just grabbed a poster and they're just going to cover it up in post.
You think that won't actually show up in the movie? If
No,
it
I think they're
does,
just gonna cover it up in
that's
post.
curious. Not just that it's PS4, like that's weird. You could have grabbed a live action shot from something.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just like, oh, this looks so real, we're gonna throw it in there, or we're gonna advertise the PS4 game in this trailer, which makes no sense because you wouldn't even know that that's where it was from. But I don't know. I don't know what the logic was behind that. The weirder thing, of course, is that it was a Raimi suit, and I don't have an answer to that.
Yeah, they probably just don't know what they want to put there yet. They don't have it designed. They
or
probably
they
need
don't know
custom.
what they're doing as far as the Spider-Man thing goes. Like, if that's actually in that movie, that's a placeholder that they left in the movie, where it's like, we know we want people to know that Spider-Man's in this. We just picked a random, but like that's such a real specific but random thing to grab, because like you're using the previous like 2 franchises ago. And which is crazy because I mean it's only been a decade, but 2 franchises ago, and then from a video game. I don't know what they were smoking on that. It's weird.
It's funny.
I would love to know if anybody has a theory about what that means, if anything. I think you're probably right. I think it's. I want to think you're right. I also am really imagining myself walking to the theater and going, nope, they left that in.
Hey, that'd be funnier.
It's going to confuse everyone. Nobody's going to be able to enjoy this movie. Maybe that's the strategy, right? Maybe they're like, because doesn't that movie, I don't know if you saw it, if you saw that trailer, I think that movie looks potentially fine.
I perused it, skipped around a little bit.
Just like Venom looked potentially fine, but also like a movie that was made in like 2007. And it just kind of screams, like it is desperate to make anybody care. Like it screams. You know what it watches like to me, DJ? It watches like a superhero movie where we forgot to put the superhero in the movie, where like it's just the villain parts, and it seems desperate to make you think that it could be a cool anti-hero thing. But what it doesn't have that Venom had was brand recognition and an already built-in fan base, apparently a much larger one than any of us knew. And Avi Arad was right when he said Venom is Marvel's most popular character. That's not true with Morbius. All Morbius has to write on is anyone's passing familiarity with that as a Spider-Man character, be it a villain sometimes or a like kind of an anti-hero, sometimes partner kind of character, and that people sometimes like vampires, but the vampire craze is kind of done. So like, there's not really a movie there. Like, and also, is Leto a draw at all at this point? Because Tom Hardy's been in Bombs, and he's co-starred in Bombs, but like, I don't know if Leto is any kind of a draw at this point.
I don't know. Like he used to, at least I think at one point he at least brought credibility as like a Oscar-winning actor, but I think Joker kind of ruined that. So now he's just kind of like floating in limbo in the middle, where the geeks don't like him and the fancy pants don't like him either. I don't know if he brings anything to this.
Especially for a superhero thing, because the last thing he was in as a villain was panned, and the one thing even people that liked that movie could agree on was his Joker was not a great Joker. Like, the one thing everybody agreed on was nobody really cared for that Joker, or at least I didn't talk to anybody that liked it. I talked to people that were indifferent toward it, but like, if I'm Leto, the very next thing I do in a comic book property is not going to be another villain type character or even an anti-hero. Like, I just, maybe that's the only thing that makes sense for him to play, but I wouldn't have gone to Morbius. I'm curious as to how that ends up turning out. I'm also curious to see if it makes a lot of money. Eric and I were debating about this the other day in text, and I said there's no way that makes $1 billion.
There's no way it makes anything close to that, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
But walking out of Venom, I didn't think that would do well. And
but once again, what does Venom have that movie does not have? Avi
Arad's confidence.
Venom. That's what it has. That helps a lot.
Isn't it so weird how Marvel is always last? I feel like we're in a Wonder Woman, Black Widow situation again, where it's like there's been speculation for years that we're gonna get a Black Widow film. We never do, and then DC beats them to the punch. And then there's some speculation for them to do a villain movie forever. Loki has been tossed around forever. They still never do it. And now Sony has 2 villain movies. DC has Joker. Like, is Marvel just finally gonna do it?
Well,
yeah.
By this time in a couple of years, DC will have had 4. But the thing, right? But no, it's really interesting you say that. And it's odd that it took them so that Marvel hasn't gotten ahead of that. But they also, I don't know, in their minds, Guardians looked like more of an anti-hero movie, even though it's not really that by the end. But the other thing is, Sony only had villains because they wanted to make a shared Spider-Man universe with no Spider-Man. So that's not them, like, paving any kind of new ground, buddy. And also, they wanted to make a Sinister Six movie before they even had this whole crazy thing. And now they're not treating it like a shared Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. They're treating it like a universe that is supposed to be part of another universe that is not actually interested in it, probably, and will never acknowledge its existence. I think whoever said that it's going to be like Marvel TV is absolutely right, and I don't think Marvel will. I think what will happen is Marvel will introduce characters in Spider-Man movies that Sony will use, and then Marvel will never use them again. That's what will happen. You will never see Michael Keaton in another MCU Spider-Man movie or anything that the MCU has their name first on.
That's such a shame.
Am I right, though? That's not going to happen.
Can I ask you, how in the world did they get Michael Keaton to do this?
I don't know. Like,
how much money did they throw at the man?
What kind of check did they write?
Seriously. I was shocked. I actually watched this. I didn't have it spoiled for me. He just showed up at the end, and it blew my mind. I don't know what he's doing in this movie.
What is he doing in that movie? I saw some people saying, well, isn't it just speculation that he's playing Toomes? Like, he's an actor. He can play. No, that's clearly Toomes.
Yeah, he's wearing the prison outfit. I think if not, it's clearly meant to.
And he definitely has the same lack of haircut and all that. Like he's made up to look like Toomes. And also, wouldn't that be the most confusing thing in the world if you made like a big deal out of Michael Keaton's in your movie and you go see it and it turns out that he's playing some other entirely.
No, I would love
he's
that.
Like Morbius's dad or something, and you're like, wait a minute.
That would be amazing if they tricked the entire universe to come see it because they thought it was Toomes and it was just like random scientist.
Also, you can't keep that under wraps. Michael Keaton is too big of a deal. Like, we would have known exactly 2 characters and what the actors were playing if he was playing a substantial role in this movie that's not Toomes. Because you might be thinking, well, Cap, we didn't know about this. Yeah, because it's not going to be a substantial role. He's going to show up after the credits or in the last 3 minutes of that movie. And maybe not. Maybe he'll be at the very beginning. But he's not going to be in much of that movie.
Yeah, I just hope he's random prisoner number 3, and it's all a prank.
This is my favorite new bizarre thing that we never would have expected to see happening. Because I could talk about this all day. It's such a weird choice. But I also think it's oddly good business, at least in the short term. I really do. Because you have immediately exponentially increased the number of people that give a crap about the Morbius movie. You absolutely have. And they're all going to be duped, and they're all going to walk out going, God dang it, the only reason I came to this was for Michael Keaton, and he's not even in the movie.
No, it's genius. It's absolutely brilliant because no one would have the Morbius trailer would not have gotten any sights if it wasn't for that.
It's got us talking about it. We wouldn't be talking about this for more than 3 minutes. Be like, yeah, he looks like Morbius. Like when they show his vampire face at the end, he looks good. He looks like Morbius.
It looks awesome. That's probably also at the very end, just like the Sonic the Hedgehog. Eggman thing.
Oh my God, I hope not. I hope he's actually Morbius. I bet that's not the case. But it might be like Venom, where the movie ends up getting so cut up that there was a bunch of other Morbius stuff that they shot but didn't make it into the movie, and then you'll have a part from the trailer that you expected to be in the middle of the movie and probably was at one point, but now it's at the very end, and it's just all like cut up to hell. But what it immediately has out the gate with the teaser trailer, the big step up is that there is no bit where there's a CG creature that moves a bunch of people in a room, but the creature's not there. At least nothing like that happens.
Or there's no part where Morbius's vampire face opens up so that Jared Leto's face can start speaking, and then it closes back.
Yeah, and they're like it doesn't say turn to the wind. Like it's a big step up. Mutale, do you think we will get a Morbius rap from imminent? Morbius, he's no longer one of us.
What rhymes with Morbius?
Nothing. Notorious. Morbius, he's so friggin' notorious.
That's amazing, and that better happen.
Being him is quite laborious.
All right, you guys that's coming to Patreon soon. Cap's gonna write it. Have you ever written a rap?
I'm not. Once. I want to say no, but once.
Oh, someone says glorious. That's close. That's a slant rhyme. You can do that.
Yeah. His vampire birth was glorious. I wrote a parody of a rap for an episode of an old show I used to do called Commercials and Comics, where I did a Confessions parody.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. That's the only thing I can
So
think of.
Let's talk about this real quick. Who do we have in the Sinister Six? We have Vulture. Then it's the weirdest Sinister Six lineup. We have Morbius in there, Vulture.
Well, we're assuming that, but what if he ends up being a straight-up hero in that movie, sort of? Like, I don't know if he's actually, like, yeah, people are assuming
Morbius?
this is setting up Sinister Six, but, like, we treated Venom as a hero at the end. Like, I don't think Morbius is going to be a villain. I think he'll get a big villain that he fights in the second movie. Till this movie makes like $200, and then that doesn't happen.
Well, that's kind of what usually happens with Venom, I guess, because Carnage is worse. So.
I do think this could perform. I just don't think it's going to make $1 billion.
Matthew Bass says, "Will the real Captain Logan please stand up?"
But yeah, if you're, I'm comfy. But no, if you're counting Morbius as probably part of their Sinister Six, because I have been hearing, I'm glad somebody brought that up. I have been hearing a lot of people say that they're probably like trying to restart their Sinister Six plans. Like they're just so obsessed with this idea, and they're really upset and still kind of crying over the fact that they didn't get their third movie that would have actually had that with Amazing, and that whole thing was just a giant waste of time. And that if anybody ever, the 5 people that go back to those movies that don't realize that ends on a cliffhanger and didn't have another movie are going to be really upset when they get to the end of that. So you got Morbius, you got
no.
Okay, are we back? Are we going? Can everybody see us? Yeah, so they lost us for a minute. Hopefully we're back. Let's just wait for a comment and see if people can see us. It says we're back. Oh no. Execution Brian says R.I.P. my Thursday night. Oh, good. Okay, everybody can see us. Good. Okay.
No. All right, so I want to go here because it's a super chat and it's
go ahead, man.
Talking about what we're talking about. Paul Nass Zek 5 says,
"You suck my battleship."
What's funny about Morbius is its director, Daniel Espinosa, previously did an Alien knockoff called Life, which the studio last minute tried to sell as a Venom prequel.
Yes.
What?
That's okay. So when you say they tried to sell it as a Venom prequel, I don't know how far they really went with that, but it looked like it could have been. I didn't actually see that movie. It looked interesting. I just didn't end up going, and I don't know what the final trailers looked like. So maybe, but yeah, there was a lot of talk about that. That like maybe that was supposed to be a backdoor prequel. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Because of the Life Foundation, you see, and space, the Venom
cool.
frontier.
That's interesting. So I didn't know that director did that. I haven't seen anything by Daniel Espinosa. I don't think. Maybe I have.
Yeah, that's really strange that the next thing they make piggybacking off Venom is directed by that guy. I should watch that movie though. If anybody saw Life, let me know what you thought of it. If it's worth checking out.
Wasn't that like Michael Pena? And
I don't remember who was in that.
Can't remember who was in that. Maybe not. Tell us who was in Life. It's really confusing because there's this other movie I know called Love that was also about space, but it was about a person being up there by himself, kind of like Moon, and that was about how human condition you need other people to. It was so it's always
isolationist
confusing.
thriller. Yeah. So everybody's saying all the Batman movies again because somebody said Geekvolution returns, and now we got Geekvolution Forever and Geekvolution and Robin and Geekvolution Begins.
And Geekvolution and DJ or Batman or Geekvolution and DJ. I like that one.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal. I forgot Gyllenhaal was in that.
Jake Gyllenhaal. That's what I was going to say.
Gyllenhaal doesn't pick a lot of bad projects, so it's probably decent. Like, when was the last time he was in just a really crappy movie?
Far From Home. Oh, my bad.
Burn! But most people don't agree with you on that. So try again, sir.
I don't agree with myself on that.
I was going to say, I thought you liked that movie.
Settle down, guys. Don't eject me from the chat. It was a joke. All right.
DJ is trolling the show that he's in. Because he does that.
All right. We got a super chat from Execution Brian.
Next Christmas, I'm going to ask for professionalism.
Execution Brian asks, thoughts on Bale maybe being in Love and Thunder? Have you heard of this?
I heard about that. Yeah, I don't know who the heck he would play. A lot of people immediately just went, Beta Ray Bill, which would be amazing. That would be the craziest. If he has to be in a Marvel movie, does it have to be that one? Because it sounds terrible. Hopefully they win me over, but as a lot of you guys know, and as some of our previous subscribers that have left know, I don't like Ragnarok that much. And by that much, I mean I don't like Ragnarok. And that movie sounds like a lot of more of the same. And why does Christian Bale have to be in that one if he's in one? I wouldn't think that he would want to do a Marvel movie, but he's not. But to be fair, he's also not prudish about that kind of thing. It's just he hasn't been doing a lot of like big commercial type projects lately, right? Like he's been doing a lot more biopic type stuff and like based on a true story kind of stuff. So I imagine if he's in that, it's gonna be a real small supporting role. I don't know that Bale does a whole lot of those, but I also don't see him wanting to be a big character in a Marvel movie. But maybe, maybe. I mean, what people immediately do when they hear a big name is they go to like a big character, right? So immediately everyone went Beta Ray Bill. And I'm thinking, it could be a lot smaller, but then it's Bale, and he doesn't do a lot of tiny roles. So,
well, if we know anything about the Thor movies, is they can waste some really good talent.
At least they would be consistent. But I mean, Goldblum is fun. I just don't like that script. But, he was right for that role. You can't say that anybody else should have played that part. He at least wasn't wasted.
Well, I think who's the actress? Was that Cate Blanchett? Who was the actress that was in Ragnarok? That was the villain. That was terrible.
But like she was also right for it. It was just written poorly. Like she looked awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They wasted the actor.
That's true.
They can do so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi was in those. He was one of the Warriors 3.
Are you kidding me? See, there you go. Exhibit C.
I believe.
Let's keep going.
Like, Cap, at least it will look good and have cool action. Yeah, we gotta have one or the other, apparently. We get good action in Marvel movies, or we get really good talkie movies that have big action scenes that make me bored and go to sleep. At least lately. That's more what we've gotten lately. Like, there's some cool stuff. There's some cool action in Captain Marvel. I just didn't like that script that much.
People are just yelling at me.
Fandral, that's who it was. He was Fandral.
Of course, Fandral.
Thanks, Blue Dragonfly. Robert Wild says Jeff Goldblum is right for every role. Well, we can agree on that.
Oh, wait, that was Zachary Levi, the guy who was like her right hand, who like turned evil, who like betrayed? Wow. Good job, Zachary Levi. You're a good actor.
And Jeff Goldblum as Emily Dickinson. He's right for every role.
Have you heard about that Apple TV exclusive Emily Dickinson show that's on right now? Speaking of.
No, I didn't know about that. Just saying things.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I would be interested in taking a look at that if people are saying it's any good. I studied her in high school.
Well, you might have to get an Apple TV Plus subscription.
Yeah, probably not though.
Hey, they won some Golden Globes with their morning show.
DJ, I know we haven't had a ton of super chats, but we are 45 minutes in, and could you give me a tally at your earliest convenience?
Yes, let me go ahead and ask our last.
We are to doing a second hour and see what the evening holds for us.
Yes, last $10 super chat from John Ty is why is it when Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man, he was trying to make Spider-Man into Iron Man and everyone hated it. But when the MCU does it, everyone loves it. That's an amazing comment.
That's interesting. I think you have a couple of different situations going on there. First of all, I don't fully agree with the whole turning Spider-Man into Tony Stark thing. I think it's an easy way for him to get tech and to be able to operate in bigger stories in that universe, and I just wish they were telling smaller street-level stories. That's it. It's that simple. But I get the whole Iron Boy thing, but I don't feel character-wise like we're just, transforming him into Iron Man. I mean, he still feels like Peter Parker to me. He's just in a different situation, and it's maybe not, admittedly, the situation I want to see. So I agree with that to just a point. But here are the different situations. In the comics, nobody tends to care that much about Tony Stark and Iron Man. I'm sorry, it's just true. So when you're turning him into Iron Man in the comics, nobody's noticing that. What they're seeing is Peter Parker is being taken to what could maybe look like the next logical step, but didn't so much, under Slott. And again, not a situation I really, care that much to see Peter Parker in, unless it's like, more like middle-aged Peter Parker in like a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but like in an ongoing status quo where Peter Parker has his own company and he's really rich and he's an inventor and he's making all this stuff. Is not a thing that I would want to see for a real long time. Like, it's just, this is what we do with Spider-Man now. But again, I don't think people cared enough about Iron Man right then in the comics to even make that comparison. And Iron Man is the big popular, most popular character. He is Marvel's most popular character, DJ, in the Marvel movies right then. So I think that's probably the reason.
All right, I have another super chat real quick from Bag Studios.
But what about Dave Atkins? He says that you missed his super chats.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about because I went all the way back up to the top and I'm not seeing any. Are you sure they went through?
Were they like super early? Were they before the show started? Or did you get those?
I went all the way back up to the first one that was there when I joined the show. That was from John Ty. Unless they may have been really early, which I don't know how I get back to those.
Okay.
But yeah.
Just leave us what the questions were. We'll take your word for it that you actually left the super chats, and we'll make sure and address it. But we're just not seeing it on our end, so nobody's getting shafted. Connor Nielsen says good evening. Good evening, Connor Nielsen.
What's up, Connor?
Thanks for being here, buddy. Connor was at my place last week. We had a lovely time. We went out and had some sushi. We shot lengthy videos that will be forthcoming, at least one next week. Connor and I did a top 10 movies of the whole decade, and then we did a top 10 worst movies of the whole decade. And I have not laughed that hard in a long time. We had a lot of fun going back through what we consider the crap of the 2000s, of the 2010s. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, Connor was great. We had a really good time.
Cool.
But thanks for listening at work, Connor.
Oh, cool.
And we hope to have you on again soon. Connor and Rascal were both awesome. We had a whole lot of fun together.
Connor or Dave, let me know what your questions were, and I'll go ahead and read them out because it's not letting me go back that far to see.
What are you doing, Dave?
Dave. But anyway, Bag Studios. Dave. He gives us a $5 super chat. He says,
"Thanks, Bag.
I'm in a predicament. I just finished Kick-Ass. Do I watch the rewind or do I watch this show?" And then he says, so is Venom MCU now, and what are those repercussions?
What a great question. So the answer to the first thing is, well, this is live right now, and you'll never be able to experience it quite like this again. Is Venom in the MCU now? I think the answer is, and we've already kind of stated this already, but I think the flat, clear answer is, if you're looking at movies Sony is making, yes. If you're looking at movies that Marvel is making, it will be ambiguous at best. But man, there are things in that movie that just make it clearly not MCU. It's going to be so awkward that we're retroactively having to fold something like that in. And I hope that the Sony movies are, even if the Marvel movies never look at them, I hope they're careful not to do a lot of silly stuff that will that will go against continuity stuff that we already have from MCU. You know, because like at a certain point, and here's the difference between that and Netflix TV. I think I know we were talking about that years ago now, but I gotta mention this because I just thought of it. The big difference between that and Netflix TV is gonna be, at a certain point, Netflix TV was also not concerned with the movies. Like the incident in New York happens from Avengers, and then from then on, there are a couple of references to other things, but pretty much from then on, it's anyone's guess what the timeline is going congruent with the Marvel movies. Like, who knows how much time passes between the first season of Daredevil and the last season of Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and all that stuff. Like, I have no idea how much time passes. I have no idea what is happening in the history of MCU while this stuff is going on. People really wanted to see the Thanos snap addressed in that. I didn't care, because at that point, to me, it was already a separate continuity. Like, I didn't need those things to line up, because they already kind of didn't at that point. There wasn't anything that directly contradicted it, except that at that point it just kind of felt like it was its own thing. It felt like Marvel Max at that point, right? Like it had just kind of gone on its own way, and the Marvel movies were continuous with it, but they were not necessarily continuous with the Marvel movies. The difference with these is going to be Sony wants to use stuff from the movies to make their stuff look more relevant. And so they will continue, I think, constantly to reference things from MCU and bring in any actor that will take a big paycheck, apparently. So they're going to keep hitting us over the head with, this stuff matters, you need to watch it like you go to the Marvel movies. And when the Marvel movies hardly ever or never reference it, it will be curious to see if that strategy works and for how long.
It's a little different, though, and it's going to be more, I think, more weird than the Netflix thing, because with the Netflix thing, you have one inciting incident, and they split off, and then they kind of go their own direction at different speeds, like you said. This, though, they're going to be running parallel to each other, and it in all likelihood, Sony will keep pulling things over into their world from the Marvel universe, but they'll just keep happening separately. It's going to be really confusing.
And Marvel did not beget Sony.
Yeah.
They did. They
and Marvel
like
begat Sony.
They did initially start with, Spider-Man is there. He was loaned to them for Civil War. But then when they made Venom on their own, it's not an MCU movie. It is clearly not supposed to be there. They've never seen aliens, ever. It doesn't work.
It's really weird.
It doesn't work.
All right, just a quick tally. We were at $49.
Defoe.
49. We need $11 for a second hour. And we are, 8 minutes away from the hour? So if in 8 minutes we can't get a $9, I almost said a $9 donation. You can't leave a $9 super chat. Somebody please leave a $9 super chat. But if you guys really want to see us continue for a second hour, I'm having a lot of fun. I like to keep going, but it is completely up to you guys, and we leave it in your capable hands. We also have been taking a lot of time on each of these questions tonight, because a lot of these are big heavy hitter things from this this has been a weird couple weeks for news and stuff and trailers and things. So anyway, I wanted to take my time on some of that. Okay, let's get another question, DJ.
All right, we got a super chat from Christian Ogden.
Yeah, thanks, man.
He says, would Captain Marvel still have made $1 billion if people knew just how much Disney was lying about that character mattering in Endgame?
Wow. No. Although it would be really interesting to see how you would even have that information. But could you imagine the Disney Marvel leak?
Yeah, Rorschach's journal comes out and it's like, Captain Marvel's not important.
Man, Disney says fine like this. That's I mean, I said that after I saw Endgame, where I was like, okay, people thought this was going to be really important to going to see Endgame, it being a prequel thing. It's like it's going to fill in gaps that are going to matter for that movie, and we really need to live with this character and have a character study and understand what she's all about before we go and see Endgame. There's two reasons that didn't work out. A, still don't really know what she's about. And B, She shot those scenes before she shot her movie, and you can tell. She's a different character in that film. So there you
Which
go.
is weird because she got the haircut before. It's so weird. Anyway, I was actually bummed about that because I might be the only one on this entire channel, but I really liked Captain Marvel. And
Okay,
I was super,
well, that's great. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I was super skeptical going in because
like things about
Captain America is my favorite thing about the MCU, and I'm super bummed that I knew he was leaving, and I was super bummed, and I was like, no one is going to be able to replace him in the MCU for me, so I'm worried that I'm not going to be in it anymore. And I really liked her performance as there, and she was super charming to me, and I thought she could actually replace Steve Rogers for me in that universe.
Wow.
And then she
I'm
got
not going to
nothing
argue
to
with
do.
you about it here, but I agree with that in 25% of that movie. That's the problem, is I think she's giving a different performance through different parts of that movie. There is a charming character there, and she's not always present.
Yeah, I liked her a lot, but then she was nothing at all. Like, she just got hardened and mean
Yeah.
over like the last 10 years.
She's
And when
just
she
a
was in
jerk
Endgame,
face.
she was just like a jerk in Endgame. I don't know what she was doing there.
She was just some other character named Cat. You know what it sounded like you were saying for a minute? I'm not belittling your opinion when you say that. When I say this, it sounded for a minute like where you were going with that was, well, we lost Captain America, and I just really needed a superhero with the title Captain. That was really important. I needed that.
Yep, that's all I need. It's because of my love for you, Cap.
Aw, thanks, buddy. You need a rank, I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Waterboy DJ?
You know what Brandon's rank is? Brandon has a rank. You know about this?
Is he Redshirt Brandon?
No, back in no, that would be obvious. Brandon is
Well,
clearly
that's
the
my-
guy that dies on away missions. No, if so years ago I had a Star Trek club, and Brandon and we had like a rank track in a Star Trek club where you could do different things to get points, and then you could get promoted in club. And because I'm an egomaniac, you could never get past captain. You could only go up to commander because I was the leader of the club, and so you couldn't get all the way up to captain. And the plan eventually was to do what we tried to do on the channel, which didn't work at all. I would eventually become an admiral and let other people be captains and have their own ships. But anyway, so Brandon didn't want to do that track, and he said, "Could we make a civilian track?" So that's a fun idea, and he was Postmaster General Brandon.
Wow.
And we just thought-
That's quite a mouthful.
We just thought the notion of a Postmaster General in the 24th century was really funny.
I'm sure it is, but I don't understand because I know nothing about Star Trek.
Well, it's this simple. Just imagine for a minute. I know you don't know anything about Star Trek, but just imagine.
What is a
You have-
postmaster and a general?
Oh well, the Postmaster General is the. You don't
he
even
a
know what a
mailman?
Postmaster General. Yeah, he's the leader of the mail. He's like it's an important position in the government. He just runs the mail. And imagine, if you will, in a world where you have spaceships and you can transport anywhere, and you have replicators, that you would have someone in that position. That's just a very amusing notion to me. Yeah, you can beam anything anywhere on the planet, but there is a Postmaster General. It's fantastic.
Gotcha. I'm caught up. Let's see. Oh, TH1 has a jab at Gyllenhaal. Per our earlier conversation about him not doing bad movies, TH1. You forget about his role in Source Code.
Yes, well, Source Code I don't want to count because I only recently discovered it's not as good as I thought it was. And I don't think that's a bad movie, but it's not anything like as good as I thought it was when I initially reviewed it. Did you see that? I was literally talking out of the other side of my face.
Well, I almost said something pretty mean there. All right. Oh, my goodness. I'm just going to read the initials of this person because I don't know how to say it. His name is GJJIJJI. GG? I don't know. He says, he gives us a super chat.
It sounds like you're doing binary with letters instead of numbers.
That's the man's name. I'm not gonna
He
make
replaced
fun
all
of
the
it.
ones and zeros with G's and J's.
GJJIJJI says, "Hey Cap, for counting
Yeah.
Crypto Freak, would you consider doing the season overviews again?" I guess that's like a hint, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, let me talk about this for a minute. I decided to come back and do the commentaries because I have too much to say about each episode. Sometimes I don't have quite enough to easily fill 45 minutes, but I get really close and I do my level best. I really want to do the season overviews on top of it. I'm not promising it yet because my time is limited and doing those again is crazy in trying to do that on top of everything else I'm doing, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing it in a really laid-back way just for the whatever folks want to watch those episodes with me. I realize those are going to get smaller view counts. It's probably not the smartest thing for the channel because I worry about oversaturating again. We went back to 3 or 4 videos a week, and for a good long time now, we're going to have more than that because I just want to finish Crypto Freaks. I thought about making it its own channel, like we're going to be doing with a couple of other things soon, but it's been a staple for a long time. We've got 2.5 seasons already on the channel. I don't want to take them off and put them back up and make them have to start over and accumulating views again. So that's why I'm doing those on the channel as I am. So I want to say yes, I want to, and I'm hoping to. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch season 2 in order to do it, which is just gonna take some time, especially with all the rewinds I've got to get rolling on here pretty soon. Also, I am of course behind on rewinds again, and I need to get back to that soon. My wife's been out of town all week, and she's gonna be out of town part of next week, so I'm gonna get to those as soon as humanly possible. I'm working on one right now, but I'm also working on a bazillion other things and trying to take care of all my kids without any help. So you can probably hear my dogs right now. Hopefully they quit barking soon. But my mom is taking care of my kids so that I can do the show. And they bark at anyone that doesn't live here, and often people who do. All right, go ahead.
All right, super chat from Dave Atkins.
Hot.
Sorry. We got one from Noah O first.
Oh,
he says,
Oh, all right.
He says, beer drink or because cheese?
Both, man. Those go fine together. You know, I think one answers the other. Beer drink, ? Because cheese.
Well, he actually put the question mark on because cheese in his question. So is it beer drink or because cheese?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
I guess he meant to put that question mark on the outside of the quotations.
Right.
Because he was asking.
Right.
Beer drink or
That's what I'm
because
saying.
cheese.
Is that was supposed to be the yeah. That's a very common grammatical error. The question mark goes on the outside of the parentheses because it's about the whole sentence and not just what's inside that.
We take it very literally here at Geek Evolution Headquarters, and we will call you out on your grammar mistakes.
Did
I
say parentheses or quotation marks? I meant
You
quotation
did
marks.
say
Whatever the hell I
didn't
said
call
was
you out because
probably
you're my
wrong,
boss.
but I meant quotation marks. Okay. So
yeah, you don't want to make a grammar mistake when you're calling out someone for their grammar mistake.
That makes you look like an idiot is the thing. Okay, so we are 3 minutes past an hour. Have we hit the $60 mark, sir?
49, 51, 50.
Carry the 5.
56, 78, 59, 69.
Close enough.
63. We're at 63.
63.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We've passed it. I probably shouldn't say this, but if we ended at 59, we probably would have kept going. Okay, so we're gonna be
Dangerous
with you.
precedent, my friend.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. 55 more minutes here on the Captain Logan Show. So get in your questions, and we will knock out as many as humanly possible. What do you have next, Mr. DJ?
I have a super chat from Robert Waugh from Dave Atkins. He says, early Blade Trinity script had vampires ruling over the Earth.
It sure did.
Similar to Daybreakers, with Blade leading a group of hunters. Thoughts?
We talked about that.
That sounds crazy.
The Marvel Mania, and whenever you hear a premise like that, and then you see a movie that's as not good as Blade Trinity, it makes it a lot more disappointing, a lot sadder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know that before I was watching the movie for a commentary. That would be quite unfortunate.
I think that was the movie that was supposed to have Morbius, or was it supposed to be the previous one? Was that supposed to be 2? I thought Morbius was supposed to be the bad guy in Trinity, but it's been a long time since I thought about that movie.
I don't know. This is the first time hearing of it, obviously.
But yeah, that sounded like a really cool premise, and would have been obviously really different from what they did before. And Blade Trinity is also different from what they did before, but in a terrible mid-2000s crappy superhero sort of way. It was like Blade meets Ghost Rider, and it wasn't good. The only good thing it gave us was kind of an early look at what a Deadpool movie would look like, or what Ryan Reynolds as that character would be. He goes in and basically just plays Deadpool, and I think if that movie hadn't been made, we probably wouldn't have gotten those movies, I imagine, because that was kind of just proving ground for him. And I think, and at the time, if memory serves, I think the story is he didn't even know about Deadpool yet, and he was just doing that performance. And then a bunch of people wrote him and were like, "Do you realize you're just doing Deadpool?" And he's like, "Who's that?" And then he looked into it, got excited about it, and tried forever to get that made.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cap, you don't understand. She listens to techno music while she fights vampires.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It's brilliant.
No, I do understand. I was there. But it's not. It's not.
That's
good.
all I know about.
Hey DJ, this is unprecedented. I've never done this before, but I'm gonna need you to take the reins for about a minute and a half.
Oh goodness.
Okay. Because I gotta go have a. I go have a pep talk with these dogs. What's that?
I'm going to save the super chats till you get back.
Yeah, save the super chats.
Just chat with the guys.
Yeah, would you do that? And I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, give me just a minute and a half.
All right, guys. What do you want to talk about? It's just me. Captain's gone. Cat's away and the mice can play. That is a quote from an animated movie called Flushed Away that I like quite a lot. It's a stop-motion movie with Hugh Jackman, of all people, playing a mouse. With his Australian... Actually, I think he's doing a British accent in that film because it takes place in London, which is quite strange, but it's a funny movie. I have not been prepping for this all day, Blue Dragon 5. That's why it's going so terribly. What's the Welders Rogues Gallery, Mutale? I have no idea. You guys have built more about this welder persona than I ever thought about it when I was preparing for the role. You guys have hit it out of the park with this stuff. So let me know. What is the Rogues Gallery? I'm assuming they're all like people he's met in shop class. So like the blowtorch. Well, no, he's the blowtorch guy. So I guess like the grinder guy and the wood shop guy. I don't know. I'm assuming they're all his high school enemies. DJ's solo sink or swim mode. Very true. Very true. This is probably going to be more sinking than swimming. Considering I've never done this before by myself. DJ, would you rather make a welder movie or a Disney Plus series? Gotta be Disney Plus. Give me a good solid 8 to 10 episodes so I can really flesh this guy out. I also liked Flushed Away. Thank you, Mitali. I'm glad you agree. Flushed Away is good stuff, says Andrew Follett. Good to hear. Get some Flushed Away love in the chat. Thoughts on the SSSS, says TH1. If you're talking about the SSSS, you added an extra S. But if you are talking about the Facebook group, I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. I just posted a picture of Cap today in the SSSS with a Infinity Gauntlet on that I took while I was here at the mall. It was a lot of fun. It's a good photo.
What are we talking about?
Talking about a lot of stuff, man. These guys came through. They really helped me. I honestly didn't stop talking the whole time.
Wow. Well, that's exciting. You know what else is exciting? McDonald's Sweet Tea.
Oh, you got McDonald's. It's like I feel like I'm in a Marvel mania right now.
It kind of feels like that.
Got me food, except I can't take it from you because I'm 16 hours away.
Yeah, that's
20
true.
Hours? How many hours?
No, 12.
Okay, 12.
12. And
much better.
Yeah, I only had to drive 9 to get there because I was already in St. Louis.
Yeah. Mutali asked what the welder. There was basically a lot of welder questions. We talked about a little movie called Flushed Away while you were gone.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It's pretty good.
Really? Okay.
I like it a lot. It's Hugh Jackman playing a mouse, a stop animated mouse, a British mouse. Anyway, talked about that enough. He says, what would the welder be like in Watchmen? He would be burning people's faces off with his blowtorch, much like Rorschach does with the what's that thing called? The frying pan in the prison?
Yeah, and then he'd be like, Herm.
No, I think an adult Watchman, an adult welder would fit right in with Watchmen. They were asking me if I wanted a Netflix series.
It'd be horrifying. But there was something I saw recently. You guys helped me out because we talked about it when it happened. There was something I saw recently that was like this scary welder guy. And we were like, oh man, it's the welder in like a rated R horrifying thing. I can't remember what it was I was watching, but there was something that had a scary welder
I
guy.
think you told me about that. Was it the Breaking Bad movie?
Yes, that's what it was. It was El Camino. El Camino has the welder in it.
There you go. See, that's the older adult version of welder.
Yes.
After,
no, we've already had that. There's precedent for that. Yep. That already happened.
David Crabtree pops in for a $10 super chat. And I will get to that later, Crabtree.
Oh, no. Okay, everybody's going to have to bear with me when we get to that, because I have things to say.
Okay. Well, let's jump back up to Robert Wild.
And you're not going to care. What sucks is I had to show DJ The Matrix, and I did not have time to force him to watch Star Trek.
That is true. Thankfully, he was only here for 2 days. I'm just kidding.
You say that.
He thinks I'm going to love Star Trek, but I don't love space stuff, and I don't want to hurt his feelings. It's like a thing for me.
It's not the space stuff, man. Just good stuff for Star Trek.
I know. I'm sure there is. I just don't know if it's for me. But I will give it a try. I always give everything a try.
Star Trek's for everyone. Okay, go ahead.
Robert Wild says, do you think Venom 2 will cross over with Morbius?
I think there will be some kind of really obvious gimmicky cross thing where they're like, no, see, these things are related. They're gonna make a real big deal out of it, and it'll be in the teaser trailer, and then it won't actually be as important as everything as well. It'll be some really minor character that's in Morbius. I don't think Morbius will be in that movie. I think some character that's in Morbius, some scientist guy will be in that, right? They'll try to set up their version of Agent Coulson as some scientist person that ties all these movies together. That's what they'll do.
No, I'm not scared of space. I just don't care for it in my fiction usually. But what I think is going to happen is I think Tom Hardy's going to walk up to Morbius and say, "You hate the spider. I hate the spider. Maybe we can work out some kind of agreement." Oh, terrible.
It's possible.
Why do I remember that? I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years.
There's a lot, for being such a crappy movie, it's memorable. Not in the ways that you wish it was, but yeah.
Makes me make that sound. John Ty.
Are we in an episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast right now, or like Beavis and Butthead? Like, what are we doing?
This is what happens when you get us for another hour, guys. Sorry. John, I do need to step out and get some more water.
This is your extra hour.
So I'll set you off on a question, then I'm going to go get some water.
Oh, man. He's going to set me off.
All right. John Ty. Let's see what you got. Can villains be a Mary Sue? If they can, does that mean Joker is a Mary Sue because he can't die and always gets out of trouble? Fantastic question.
Wow, you leave me with that? Okay, bye.
Bye.
See you later. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Mary Sue or Gary Stu or whatever, meaning if you're not familiar with the term, because one of those is obviously, for males and one's for females, just a character that cannot do any wrong and has like often complete plot armor, but I think it has more to do with, they're just being good at everything, somebody that can fly a plane and, drive fast cars and knows how to sew up wounds, can just do anything. I don't think that term is just about heroes, just about protagonists. I think any character can be that. I don't think it really makes any difference. I think people are less likely to be irritated by it when it's an antagonist because that character is there to be in the way of the hero accomplishing whatever they're trying to accomplish, right? So if you have like a real powerful villain, however that character got that powerful, and whether or not it makes sense, sometimes I think it's easier to coast on that and for people not to notice it as much because that might create a greater conflict and a greater challenge for the protagonist. Robert Wild says the welder is kind of a Mary Sue when you think about it. I mean, all we know is that he's good at welding. I don't know if he's got that one really good, that one thing he's really capable of doing. Connor Nielsen says, I thought Mary Sue, Gary Stu just referred to an obvious authorial self-insert character. Maybe I've always misinterpreted it. Maybe it's not what I thought it was. This is like an online term that I just had to kind of like feel out based on what people were saying and the commonalities of all these characters that people were calling that. Like, it's not a thing I heard of until a few years ago. So maybe I'm off base and that's not actually what it is. Mutale, what do you love about being a geek? I don't know. I mean, a lot of it's funny. It's not a thing I like thought of myself as growing up or referred to myself as. It's just a lot of the things I liked kind of lined up with what people think of as geeky or nerdy. I didn't have thank goodness, the same experience that a lot of people that were into the things I did had growing up. I didn't get bullied real hard a lot. I did a little bit when I was like in elementary school, and you know, there was like an incident here or there, but for the most part, hello DJ. For the most part, I didn't have a real hard time like making friends and stuff. So I didn't really like put myself in like the geek label, because I just had the interests I had, and then discovered later on, you know, people, if you like Star Trek and you read comics and stuff, you're considered a geek. Oh, okay, I guess I'm one of those. And then I kind of just like steered into that real hard when I started the blog and the YouTube channel and stuff. So I don't know what I like about being a geek so much as just I like the stuff I'm into. And it's fun that I guess geeks kind of rule the world now, and that it's more, you know, generally accepted, and more people, like these days, I think the name of the channel is almost outdated, because it feels like a lot of people are into the same things I'm into, and there's just more of kind of a variety and a diversity to the different kinds of people that like a lot of the kinds of stuff that I like. DJ, are you around? You seem frozen. And DJ is frozen. We're gonna see if we can get through this last hour. That's gonna be real exciting. I think I'm gonna hang up on DJ and call him back. That is what I'm thinking. We'll see if he pops back in here in a second. Nope, let's call him back. All right, folks, are you ready? We're gonna call him back. Here we go. Call him back, DJ. This is us calling DJ. Come back, DJ. Oh, do we want to schedule our next call? No, I want to call right now. Come on, DJ. Pick up. Pick up. Somebody said Mr. Freeze got the DJ. Oh, now he's calling me. Okay. Well, he's unavailable because he's trying to call me. Here, let's try this again. Let's try this again. Here we go. DJ, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, we got him. He's back. There we go. A dinosaur story. I had to hang up on you because I couldn't get you to pick up. All right, you were frozen.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything you said.
Somebody said Mr. Freeze got you.
It was just like, the whole time. That's all I heard.
Look, I don't like that you are always making fun of the way I talk. DJ,
so what happened while I was gone?
40 minutes left on the show. I talked about being a geek.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
People wanted to know what I liked about being a geek, and I said I like the hobbies I have, and I never put myself in that box, despite the fact that we call ourselves Geekvolution.
Yeah. Yeah, he asked that a couple times. I'm glad you got to get to that.
Yeah.
So you didn't move on to the super chats. You just answered the one about the Mary Sue.
That's what I did.
All right. Well,
and
David Crabtree.
Apparently, I answered it incorrectly. I need to do some research and find out what that term means, because people are saying it's not what I thought it meant.
Oh. Well, we always like to learn here, so let us know what it actually means. In the super chats. Not in the super chats.
Once again, talking out of the other side of my face. Okay, good.
The regular chat. I don't know what I'm saying. David Crabtree puts in a $10 super chat.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Hey, fellas. So, Cap, the card drops 1 week from today. Yeah. What are your final expectations going in? I fear it could be too on the nose and preachy with current politics, as Patrick Stewart recently hinted at.
Yes, I am also concerned about that. That's the main thing that has. Well, there's a number of things that have me worried about it. So that question's hilarious.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I don't expect you to answer it, but I want to ask it because it's hilarious.
All I'm gonna do when you ask me that is just this. Okay. So anyway, Yeah, I am also concerned that, like Discovery, it's going to be real heavy-handed with its politics, and it's not going to be real smart about it, and it's not just going to, tell a story with some, good political satire or social commentary, I should say, or a morality play like good Star Trek always was. Let's not pretend like, especially TOS, there wasn't a lot of heavy-handed stuff in Star Trek. There was, but a lot of that's not the best Star Trek, and especially like those were one and done episodes. When you do it with a whole season of television, you tend to just be like beating me over the head with this current thing in politics is bad, and I hope it's not that. But there is definitely reasons to be concerned. We've also already gone on to our third showrunner before the show is out. That is also concerning. But maybe the biggest thing, I said that was the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing I'm worried about, especially because this tells me that it will probably be tonally closer to Discovery than I want it to, is apparently, and I'm hoping this turns out to just be a rumor, but I don't think it's going to be. I think this will be true. This is nearly, I don't know, this seems nearly substantiated. Apparently, and this is spoilers for the end of the second season of Discovery, if anybody cares. But there is supposed to be a setup for the dystopian future that the Discovery goes to 1,000 years in the future at the end of 2. And that means that it's directly related to Discovery, and I was really hoping that we could kind of watch this as its own thing and that it would feel more like Prime Star Trek, and because Discovery doesn't, and it doesn't feel like it can connect at all. And I was already a little bit worried about this because it's made under, as far as I understand it, the same license that Bad Robot made the 09 movies and the Discovery's made under, and it is directly following the events at the beginning of 09 with the destruction of Romulus. I don't mind the destruction of Romulus thing being in there, but that immediately made me go, oh no, they're probably going to be really Discovery connected, and it looks like that is indeed what they're doing, and if it is, I don't care, and that hurts my feelings, and I don't even want to watch it now, but I hope that it turns out not to be the case, or that even despite that, it's somehow great. So, like, I'm trying to be as open-minded as I can, but I think it might end up being a disaster, and that would suck. So, anyway. Yep. DJ is frozen again. So seriously, we are gonna try to get through this hour, but this is not going the best. Can you hear me, DJ? Oh, that looks promising. DJ, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Thank God.
But it was just
awesome.
bleeps and bloops for a while.
Yeah. Well, you don't care
because
that's
what I always hear
talking
when
about
Star Trek. Star Trek. So
yeah.
Why? I'm not on the fritz. It's his internet. Everyone's blaming me for this. All right, Dave Atkins.
Maybe it is your fault. Maybe somehow it secretly is your fault.
Okay, I'll take the blame. I'm the lowly moderator.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Dave Atkins gives us a super chat. He says,
thanks,
"Love
man.
the bromance between Mackie and Stan. Always get along so well. Have fun in interviews, and makes me even more hyped for their Disney Plus series."
Yeah, they've seemed like good friends going all the way back. They're a lot of fun to watch together in the behind the scenes on Winter Soldier, and of course they've been on a lot of sets together since then. So no, I'm stoked that they're getting a show together. It's gonna be great. I'm hoping it's gonna be great, and that's been moved up now, right? They've indefinitely, as far as we I think it's the end of this year. They've said now,
Wow.
or even earlier than it was going to be. And
I thought it was Scarlet Witch that got moved up to this year.
Scarlet Witch was already this year. No, you're right. That got moved up, and then this show was always going to be this year. You're right. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And then Jeremy Renner's show got indefinitely postponed. Apparently. So we don't even know if
which is so lame because that's the one I'm most excited about.
Oh yeah, see, I don't really care that much, but I mean, hoping it's good, but I just don't get that excited. Like a Hawkeye standalone thing doesn't really excite me that much. But yeah, like there's been a lot of rumors that it has to do with stuff going on in his personal life and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know how much truth there is to that. So yeah.
Cool. Oh man, this is an old GNN topic, John Ty. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a throwback super chat. He says, is darker storytelling more realistic?
No, not necessarily, and we need to stop assuming that it is. That like, oh, well, the world is cynical, and the world is scary, and if only we make everything like grimdark, and we make people angry and hate each other, it will feel more like the real world, and it will magically somehow make people resonate with it. No, that's not how getting people immersed in storytelling and immersed in your characters works. I think when you're writing a thing, you want to make it believable before you want to make it realistic. If you're trying to make a really grounded thing that feels realistic, then that is your believable. But it's not about being realistic. It's about making me buy your characters and your world within whatever the internal logic is. The word realistic even bothers me, except for in things where that's what we're trying to accomplish. But and obviously in different contexts that word makes sense, right? Like, realistic dialogue, for instance, can be different in different things, where it's like, I just need to believe that this is how these people would really speak to each other, even if it's a more heightened thing, or even if it's clearly written in a way that, like, okay, in real life people don't speak this way, but it's realistic in the sense that I'm buying that these people speak this way. And B, the most important thing, it doesn't take me out. I didn't even think about it. That's the most important thing. So no, it's not. Any more than lighter storytelling is immediately realistic.
All right, cool. Well, we've gotten a reprieve from Super Chats for the time being, so I'm going to jump back to pre-written, and I really like this one from Andrew James. He says, what's your dream casting for Fantastic Four? And then he says, this, which is a really common one that a lot of people have been saying, and I don't usually jump on the bandwagon for fan casting, but I am on this one because this is a perfect one. He says, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt for Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic, surely, is what he says. And I fully agree, that is a fantastic choice. And I don't care if I'm with a mainstream on this one, because that's perfect.
I don't do the fan casting thing well, and I don't have a real good sense of young actors right now. I've just not been watching enough stuff outside of the...
Oh, you want to go young with it?
Well, I just always assume that's what they'll do. Yeah, and that's why they won't do that. When we finally do Fantastic Four again, it's not going to be a 30-somethings Fantastic Four. Well, I don't think it will be. I'm with you. It'd be cool if we did that. But I think they'll cast young so that they can keep them around longer.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just weird to have a young, like the first family be young, younger than everybody else. I mean, hey, I was down with the Fan Four Stick cast. They were awesome. So, I mean, I can like a young cast, but
I could be wrong. They could go against that just because that's the last thing they did. There's also some wisdom in that, right? Or at least like studio logic to, well, we need to do the opposite of what we did last time. So we did an elderly Fantastic Four that we can that does one movie, dies, and is replaced by a younger cast.
I hope that movie didn't ruin that cast. I mean, obviously it didn't ruin Michael B. Jordan, but have you seen Kate Mara in anything recently?
No, I have not.
Miles Teller. I just saw Jamie Bell. He was actually in Rocket Man this year.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot he was in that. Miles Teller is in some TV thing, I think, but I don't know what. But I think he's doing something. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing stuff. They probably just had to step away from the limelight for a while after that.
It's crazy that Jordan took off the way he did immediately after that.
Yeah, was Creed,
set him back at all? But yeah, Creed was obviously the thing that really propelled him forward.
Was it after that? When was Fan Four Stick?
Fan Four Stick was 2014.
Because Creed was also 2015, so I guess it helped that they were the same year.
Yeah, he'd already made it.
Yeah. Thoughts on Fantastic Four possibly being a 60s period piece from Bob Kane as a fraud? Hey, welcome, Bob Kane as a fraud.
I would love that. It would have to be set in a different universe again. We'd have to do the multiverse thing. There's no way you could stretch that. No pun
Yeah,
intended.
the public superhero family can't be a secret like Ant-Man.
You can't do the Ant-Man thing with that.
Yeah.
It would have to be, but you also can't make them the first family by definition unless they're in another universe. So if we're gonna do interdimensional, you might as well set it in the 60s. But then at that point, it's not gonna make any difference unless it's a 60s that is going parallel with our time in another dimension, right? It could be another dimension that currently is in the 60s, and if you cross it in 2020, you are in the 60s. You could do that, but if you don't do that, if it's just in a dimension, in another dimension, and in the past, then it won't matter that it's MCU, and I do not see Disney greenlighting something like that, because that would be the big loophole, right? Where you could go, well, it's technically an MCU, but it doesn't matter that it is, and I would be really on board with that. That would be really cool. That won't happen. They'll want it to cross with stuff.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about this interdimensional thing. Like, what's the point of having all these different dimensions if you're not gonna if your whole selling point is that everything is interacting with each other?
Well, we'll just do the same thing we do with the CW shows.
Where everything is a big crossover interdimension.
No. What I was gonna say is where if you want to cross people over, you just have like a technology stick that lets you jump over to another dimension, and then you're good. And that's what they'll do. I am sure if they do a lot of interdimensional stuff, or maybe it won't be a technology stick. Maybe it'll just be Doctor Strange, right? Because I mean, like, he's gonna go to other dimensions in his next movie, so.
Yeah. Well, the big rumor or speculation is that Scarlet Witch, almost said Scarlett Johansson, Scarlet Witch is going to create all the dimensions with her when she like loses her mind or something in her TV show, like House of M or something.
And I like that. That's a good idea.
Let me see.
Come on, DJ, we gotta fill 29 more minutes, sir.
Well, people gotta ask more questions, man. I'm having to go back to the beginning. Throw me some new questions.
All the way back to the beginning. Well, this other hour thing apparently was not a great idea. I thought you had there's so many questions, and I thought I was taking forever to answer.
I feel bad because Mutale and Blue Dragon 5 are asking a bunch of questions, but I've already asked a bunch of theirs, and I want to get to some other people.
Okay. Am I talking too fast? Should I slow it down? Is that?
There's a practical one. Mutale asks, Cap, have you thought of using the Captain Logan show as spoiler casts for other movies like you did with Watchmen? Or shows?
No, I've not intentionally thought about doing that. That was kind of a thing we did by necessity because Dan was available that night and we already had a show going on that night, so it became the Watchmen spoiler cast. But I would certainly consider doing that in the future. It kind of just becomes a built-in topic for that night, and I'd like to do more topic shows. But if there is a week like this where there's like a bunch of news and stuff to talk about, I'd kind of hate to pave over with a review. So I don't know. Most of the time I like separating them out, but there might be other times where it makes sense to do that.
All right. We just got a fresh off the presses super chat from David Crabtree.
Stop the press. Who is that?
It's more like a trivia question than really a question. He says, in Ninja Turtles 3, who time travels to the present from feudal Japan, switching places with April as she is transported to the past by the time scepter?
Okay, so David made a Geek Fusion trivia game, and we played it on Captain Logan After Dark last week, and now he's apparently asking questions from his game in the chat.
Shameless plugging.
Yeah,
Shameless plugging here.
I think that's what it is. For a thing that only I have access to. I don't know that he's actually making those, and we'll be able to get them. But yeah, I don't remember the name of that guy. There's some samurai guys.
Yeah, Japanese samurai guy. That's his name in the credits.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Cap, what is the most evil thing you've ever done? I forgot who wrote that. I didn't write it down.
Yeah, we didn't get to that earlier. Was it? It wasn't Blue Dragon 5. Who was that? I forget. Oh, Kenshin. Yeah, I remember that guy now. Boy, I don't even know if I would divulge that.
I didn't expect you to, but if you want to, you can.
I don't know. I can't think. Like, evil is such a strong term. I try to be a nice person. I can't think of anything I would say is particularly evil. I will say that in my past, hopefully this isn't giving away too much about myself. I have a couple of times done things where, whether I thought it was warranted or not, somebody refused to ever speak to me again. That has happened, but I don't know that I actually did an evil thing to make that happen, so I don't know. That's a great question. I'm glad it wasn't a super chat, because I don't have a great answer.
Yeah, that's more of an After Dark question. Tune in next week.
Oh, Mutale wants to know if it's me swearing. Is the most evil thing I've ever done swearing? No, well, I mean, I'm sure I've like lied to somebody. And you know, stuff like that. I'm sure. I mean, probably like I'm sure I've like, you know, been kind of mean to somebody at some point. You know.
You ever stole anything?
Kind of gone off on somebody. No, I've never stolen anything.
Let's just go through the 7 deadly sins from Shazam.
Sure. Well, I stole digital music back in the day. I don't know if that counts. I did some of that. That's
probably the most evil thing all of us have done.
Back in the LimeWire days, yeah. That's like baseline evil, though. Like, we all did that.
Yeah, but we did it a lot. So it kind of amplified.
So, okay, I'm going to go through some of Mutale's here. Blackmail, I've never done that. Tortured someone? No, not to my recollection.
Blue Dragon 5 says, I imagine it was something mundane like mail fraud or something.
There is.
You open your wife's mail? Because I do that. That's technically against.
There's this great episode of the animated Tick. I gotta bear with me for a minute because this is funny. Called Grandpa Wore Tights, and the Tick is listening to a bunch of elderly superheroes tell stories about their escapades in the like 30s and 40s, and he and Arthur are leaving the place and they're roof jumping, and the Tick is bemoaning the fact that none of the crimes that they have to deal with now seem as big as they did back in the day, and he's like, nobody ever does anything big, and then immediately there's an explosion and there's like police sirens, and the Tick goes, what's that? Postal fraud?
This is really good. Blue Dragon 5 says, well, technically Cat broke into a comic book shop.
Technically I did not. Technically I had permission to be there, and the owner was there as I was filming. So no. There's a difference, but I don't want to call you out, but there's a difference between technical and fiction.
Well, fictionally, Cat broke into a comic book store.
Fictionally, that's right. Hey, guess what? I was watching the other day. I haven't finished it yet, but I finally started watching The Death of Superman Lives.
Hey, John
What
Snap.
happened?
Awesome.
Yeah. Connor gave me a copy of this, signed by the guys that made it, and John Schnepp was the director for this, and I think Connor told me that he's passed away since then. Is that true?
Yes.
That's really
He's
sad.
a big guy on Collider. He passed away a couple years ago.
And I'm not, like, rest in peace. I'm not making fun of the guy when I say this, but like, I cannot believe that this has been out, like, for like 4 or 5 years, and I never got around to watching it. And the man's passed away since then. It's crazy. But this is a really interesting movie, and it's fascinating. I think it's pretty well made. I wish they actually got Nicolas Cage to interview, but I haven't finished it, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually show up.
They maybe couldn't. He seems like he's... All right.
It is really cool, though, that they got to go to Tim Burton's house, and that he's in as much as... I can't believe how they didn't light that room, though. That is hilarious. I don't know if you just wouldn't allow lighting equipment in or what, but it's like, this is really darkly lit. They just didn't even light it. It's crazy. It's like me making a... It's like the way I make documentaries.
We've got to give John Ty like a standing ovation or something. He's got another super chat.
Oh, thanks, man.
Like his 4th or 5th one.
Goodness gracious.
Just to ask, are you still reading Justice League Dark by James Tynion? Tynion?
Was I ever reading that? I like, did I start
certainly
that
hope
book?
so.
And maybe oh, you know what? I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I guess I reviewed the first issue of that. No, I didn't keep going with it. I might go back to that at some point, but yeah, no, I am not currently reading that. I'm sorry I don't have any more interesting things to say, but I'm not. I am not.
Oh, man, do you think we could get Westerns with dragons because it's hard to incorporate, and would you like to see one? Sorry, wait. Do you think we don't get Westerns with dragons because it's hard to incorporate, and would you like to see one? That is the best question of the night.
A mystery. You know, I was just sitting around the other day drinking a beer thinking, how come there aren't more Westerns with I think you're onto something, though. I think incorporating dragons is like incorporating aliens with cowboys. It's like you wouldn't think to do it, and now we need a movie called Cowboys and Dragons. That's the long-awaited necessary follow-up to a movie that I found so dull I didn't watch past the first half an hour. But there's people that swear by that movie. Yeah, I think that would be fun. Sure, just
wait, what? Cowboys and Aliens?
More genre. Cowboys and Aliens, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. Have you ever seen that dragon movie, Reign of Fire, with Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey?
Is that worth watching?
I don't know, but I like dragons, and there's a lot of cool dragons in it.
The dragons were
basically
nice.
It's basically a post-apocalyptic world that dragons took over. Like when someone's a kid lets out all the dragons by accident, and they just take over the world, and everyone's like living in like. There's one cool thing about it is like they're all living underground in like these encampments, like hobos, and for the children they don't have they have no technology. So like Christian Bale and like the other guy in the group, they like act out Star Wars for the kids. It was pretty funny, but yeah, it's a really bleak, dark movie. Matthew McConaughey comes in as the dragon hunter, and then they kill the dragons. I think I just hit my mic. Sorry if that was loud.
I might have to take a look at that. That sounds interesting. But yeah, I mean, mashups can be really fun. They can also be one note and like, the only idea we had was dragons and cowboys. That's what we had.
Well, usually you don't like dragons because you don't like medieval times, right? But this is like future with dragons, but they don't have a lot of technology, so it's kind of like the same thing.
You're putting words in my mouth, DJ.
That's my job.
When you go back to fantasy things, I don't generally get excited about the kinds of stories that are told with sword and sorcery, and yeah, usually that time period just doesn't interest me as a period. But dragons are cool. It's just they're always in that time period. So yeah, you're right. I mean, like it's not that I don't like dragons. It's that I don't like dragons and that time period. So you're right. You put it someplace else, but like you also don't have to go too far forward with it. Also, you put a dragon in the middle of Tudor England, and I'm all in that, man. Like that's one of my favorite periods. Do that. That sounds awesome.
Interesting. That's cool. Well, speaking of fantasy in modern day, someone asked us about the two Pixar movies coming out. Soul and Onward. Onward is the one that's about
finally doing a fantasy piece in present day that's like, what if all that fantasy stuff happened in that, and then we had like modern technology and stuff.
Yeah.
That looks like it's got potential. I saw a trailer for that in the movie, but I don't remember anything else.
I haven't seen anything about Soul, but like Onward is a weird premise where they're like trying to get his dad's body back.
Yeah.
It's like the first teaser was just like, look at the world it is. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then that was like, whoa, this is very specific and pretty weird, but I hope I love it.
It's like everything Eric keeps asking for, except I think he wants it in something more serious and live action, and, which I think is why he liked Bright more than anybody else did.
Oh, really? I've only heard bad things about that.
It's not anything like as bad as everybody said it was, and I mean, I had issues with it. It's got huge pacing problems, but like worst movie of that year, I don't know, man. There's some contenders.
Yeah,
I do know it's not the worst movie of that year. I can't. I don't understand that.
I'm not qualified to answer this yet, but I'm going to bring it up. Blue Dragon 5
I'm not qualified to answer half the stuff I answered already, but for some reason, people cared.
I physically can't answer this. He says, "Who's your best picture pick, Cap and DJ?"
Best picture pick
for this year. Do you know what's nominated?
Oh, I heard about a couple things, but I don't remember them now. I know Joker's on that list, but beyond that,
yeah. So the only ones I've seen are Marriage Story, which I liked a lot, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really want to see Parasite. I really want to see 1917. I really, really want to see Little Women, and I want to see Jojo Rabbit. So those are the four I'm going to watch. But I have a baby, and I haven't been able to get to the theater this year, so I'm having to wait till they come out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I need to see Parasite too. I keep hearing things about that. Joker won't win and shouldn't win. That's all I'll say. It is a fine movie. I liked it a lot. It is too derivative to win Best Picture.
It's crazy that it has the most nominees of anything,
which is crazy. Yeah,
usually not a good sign, because usually like the one that gets the most nominees doesn't win the Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll have a thing like that and it will sweep, but Joker won't sweep. And Joker would not be on that list if we didn't have to have 10 on the list now.
You're not right about that because they only nominated 9.
Okay, but we didn't used to have even that many. It used to be like 5 or 6, right?
But they can nominate 10, but they chose not to this year. Some people are
Oh,
mad about that.
okay. That's interesting, but I'm just saying that, like, it's a bigger. We still do more than we used to. Like, if there were only 5 or 6 pictures nominated, Joker's not on that list. My point sort of stands. If Joaquin Phoenix won Best Actor, I would be on board with that. But that should not win Best Screenplay or Best Picture.
Cool. Yeah, it would have to be adapted screenplay if it was. I don't know what was nominated for original screenplay. But yeah, I was excited about that. This is a really good year for movies, and there's so many.
Well, wait, it has to be
that I
considered
wanna see.
adapted just because it's based on source material, even if it's not adapting a particular story? That's dumb.
Yeah, that's what
Is
it was
that
nominated
true?
for.
That's dumb, though, because that's not an adapted screenplay. It's not. It's an original screenplay based on a pre-existing character, right? By definition?
Yeah,
Yeah? Okay. All right.
I would agree with that, but I don't know.
I'm trying to drum up controversy here. It's not working.
I don't know what their reasoning was for that. I mean, I'm assuming it's just because of what you said, because of the character, pre-existing character.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, Knives Out was nominated. Okay. I don't think that'll win either, just because usually movies like that don't, but...
No, that was nominated for original screenplay. He was answering my question.
Oh.
Which is great. I hope it wins, because that was...
Yeah, and Noah says Logan was nominated for adapted screenplay. I can see that more because of all the Old Man Logan influence, but Joker is very much its own thing. Unless you want to say it's adapted from 2 movies that it's a whole lot like.
Connor Nielsen says sequels are also thrown into adapted screenplay, so I guess anything pre-existing, they have to put it in that category.
Well, then they need a new word. Like, I don't mean to quibble over semantics, but that is not the word you're looking for. Okay, anyway, let's move on, shall we? This is not interesting to anybody but me, and I'm also losing interest.
All right.
We have 15 minutes, folks.
All the chat is about Oscars right now. Someone change the subject.
Crazy talk, change the subject.
I'm having to scroll back.
Well, DJ, you know what I'm excited about?
Friday.
Knock on wood, but I'm excited about the fact that you're still here and I can still sort of hear you. That's very exciting.
Hey, that's always a plus when you can hear the moderator.
Other things I'm excited about. I have sweet tea. It's very good. I was drinking beer before, and now I'm drinking tea. It's kind of a weird thing to drink immediately after a beer, but...
People are still talking about. People are happy Toy Story 4 was nominated for Best Animated Feature. Frozen 2 was snubbed. Says Daniel Davis.
Well, I didn't see it, so I don't know if it was worthy of anything.
That's kind of crazy.
But it's weird if that wasn't nominated for Best Animated Feature. Like, what the heck else even came out? I mean, besides a bunch of stuff that looked like drivel to me.
I think Toy Story 4 was nominated.
Well, it will win
Link
that.
was nominated.
It will.
I Lost My Body was nominated, which I want to watch. It's on Netflix, but I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
What's that called?
I Lost My Body.
Oh, weird. There's a Team EG song called that.
Oh. Don't think it's related.
No, it wouldn't be.
French? It's not in English, because I was going to watch it while I was doing other things the other day, and I couldn't because I had to read that. But actually, yeah, Missing Link, Disney and Pixar both lost the Golden Globe to Missing Link, which was awesome. I was really excited about that.
Wow.
It's happy to see that studio finally get some recognition, because they don't get a lot of, they never get anything. It was pretty funny because the creators were actually like shocked themselves that they beat Disney and Pixar, and they had no speech planned. It was pretty amusing. But I really like that movie. So
well,
John
we're getting more. Oh, I left my body. Oh. That's true. That is the name of that Team EG song. So there are we got more questions, DJ. So we don't have to flounder now like we were. We can be less fish-like. Go ahead.
He says, "Do you like Superman, son John Kent?"
Early on,
I'm reading it directly.
Yeah, early on, I like John Kent fine. He's talking about the Dan Jurgens character in moving over from 52 to Rebirth. He was inconsistently written back and forth between the 2 main Superman books. Sometimes he read like he was 5, and sometimes He read like he was 11, and he's been now aged up quite a bit from what I've heard. I've not been reading a lot of stuff currently, and I dropped off Bendis hard because I didn't like it, and I've heard that he got aged up real fast. And he's like a teenager now, and he hasn't even existed more than 3 or 4 years. So in comic book time, that's really rapid and insane. He was 9 like yesterday, and anyway, so I don't like that we did that. And I wonder what that does to his and Damian Wayne's relationship and what Super Sons reads like after that. I think that book kept going. I think that's still around. It's probably in volume 4 by now. But yeah, I don't know. I liked him early on. It was fun to have that juxtaposition of what, Batman's son being raised by ninjas versus Superman's son being raised by Superman was like. And the early issues of Super Sons that I read, I liked a lot. But yeah, he's a cool character. I like him existing. I just wish that we didn't have to age him up real fast right away.
Was that the character that was in Superman Returns?
No. No, he is not an illegitimate son of Superman's.
Oh man, people are asking us if we're gonna see Doolittle.
I'm not planning on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Nah, probably not.
I think that movie looks terrible.
Yeah, I was excited when I originally heard they were doing a Doolittle based on the original books and like the set in like the 20s, and then I found that it was Robert Downey Jr. and then I saw the commercial and there's like animals like an ostrich and a polar bear fighting each other. It looks. Have you seen the trailer?
CG looks really shoddy.
It looks so weird.
That initial trailer, it just doesn't look like anything's on screen with each other, and it doesn't look like it's integrated well with Downey. And as always, you can go see it. It's probably not going to be right. Like that initial teaser, I was like, as I often say with stuff, well, it's possible the effects aren't finished yet. And then, 6 days before it comes out, I see a trailer, last week, and I'm like, nope, they just never finished these effects, or they look like they're not done. And
hey, who knows? Cats finished the effects after the movie was released and re-released it, so.
It's true, that could happen with Doolittle, but it probably won't. With Downey, that movie probably does just fine on its own. I hope it doesn't have a huge giant budget, because in January, movies never do big guns. But watch it break January records or something, just because, families will be excited about the fact that there's a not superhero thing that they can go see with Downey, and it's like the very next thing he's doing, and yeah.
Yeah, and it's opening against Bad Boys 3, so that's good counter-programming. It's good that it's not opening up against anything else.
Daniel Davis claims $170 million. Well, it's gonna maybe have a hard time making that back. Maybe. We'll see. I also, like I said, I think it's possible that people come out of the woodwork and it beats, it beats January records. But man, why in the world would you release a $170 million picture in January? And Mutale says it's projected to flop hard. Well, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, just because Downey's in a thing doesn't mean it's going to do gangbusters. Like, the Sherlock Holmes movies did okay. At least the first one did. I don't know if anybody saw Game of Shadows. I didn't. I'm surprised I remember the name of that. Was it good?
Oh, I love those movies.
Both of them?
Yeah, I love those movies. I think I like
the first one.
Maybe the first one. But those were, I watched
Spies
those in
Disguise.
like high school.
No one is
like
seeing Spies in Disguise.
High school movies like
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Is that?
I was just talking about how nobody's going to see Spies in Disguise. What were you saying?
Oh my goodness, yeah, that looked
No one's going to see that movie.
John Ty, he must have some Christmas money he's spending or something, because he just gave us 2 more super chats. This one was back a little ways. He said thoughts on the Joker Oscar, which we kind of talked about.
Yeah, we did.
Anyway.
If you are spending your Christmas money on this show, I really hope we're giving you a good show, because now I feel kind of nervous. I'm a little self-conscious at this point.
Yeah, basically Cap wants it to win Best Act. And then he also gives another one saying, have you read Detective Comics 1000?
I bought Detective Comics 1000. I'm trying to remember if I read that. That's one of those books that had like 1,000 different stories in it. I think I read a couple of them, but I don't remember them at all. So I can't give you a review right now. I'm sorry about that.
But Merry Christmas.
All right. Oh, someone said, did we lose them? Are we still here, guys? I think we're here.
I'm here. I see myself and DJ.
All right, good. TH1 was just psyching us out.
Well, somebody else is saying that it keeps stopping and starting. Yeah, I've had a bad connection. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I don't know what's going on my end. But hopefully things work themselves out before next week. Let's see. We got 5 minutes. 5 minutes of playtime.
So Muchali says thoughts on the new Birds of Prey trailer?
Oh, I missed that. I haven't seen that yet. Sorry about that. I forgot that dropped. Yep. There's a part of me that doesn't even want to watch it just because, like, I'm already so bummed out about what that looks like. I don't want to get more bummed, but then maybe I'll see it and it will have things in it that will finally excite me. So maybe I should look at it. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. In fact, the last couple days, several people sent me messages and asked me what I thought of it, and I kept going, I'm busy right now. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, and then I never got around to watching it. So I will look at that straight away. If I thought we could get away with watching trailers on the show without, well, you know what? Like I play intro music and stuff because I don't mind the show getting flagged since we have super chats and stuff. Like I'll risk it. Maybe we should start playing trailers that I haven't seen. Where it's like, have you seen this trailer? Nope. Let's watch it right now.
Yeah, we'll get a live reaction because the internet loves reaction videos.
Well, we got 5 minutes. Let me pull that up here. Unless just on principle you don't want me to play trailers because you don't like watching trailers.
Well, I have a question for you from Blue Dragon 5. Cap, how would you reboot and improve Captain Logan for the next 10 years as compared to Cap from the first 10 years?
I would eliminate the word from my vocabulary.
That's the first
start.
I would learn how to say all the...
More ASMR.
I would learn how to say all the cool stuff that comes out in a rewind that I'm really proud of in a fraction of the time. Most of these things have to do with time and professionalism. Okay, let's see here. Oh, hold on, that's not the one I wanted. That's not the one I wanted. Where's display one? There it is. Okay, let's take a look at this trailer, DJ. Are you ready? She's a walking.
She's ringing a bell.
Why, yes, you can. I'm here to report a terrible crime.
Okay, that guy should immediately be like, that's not your real voice.
Can you unplug your headphones so you can hear?
Oh no, I forgot about that. Okay, hold on. Yes. I didn't think of that. Okay, hold on. I have to do something else too. Hang on.
Okay.
We're not prepared for this.
Auxiliary mode.
Had to turn on auxiliary mode. Yeah.
Auxiliary mode.
Okay. And then the next thing I've got to do. This was a great idea that's not working out so well. Okay, so DJ, for whatever reason, because of the way you're set up on Skype, I will not be able to hear you during this. Hopefully the audience can. I don't know if they can, though. Say something, would you? Okay, so, yeah, nobody's going to be able to hear DJ during this because I don't have time to change the settings. So we'll just play this, DJ, and then you can talk to me about it afterwards. Here we go. Ah, I've seen this part.
Can I help you?
Why, yes, you can. I'm here to report a terrible crime.
It shouldn't work on anybody.
And what terrible crime is that?
Oh my God.
This one. Ah, shit. I told this all wrong. Quick history lesson.
Oh, we're
This all started when the Joker and I broke up. It was completely mutual.
Oh, Ace Chemicals, that's cool.
And soon enough, I was back on my feet.
I'm making a reaction
ready
video.
to embrace the fierce goddess within. It's
hilarious.
So quiet. Now that I cut ties with Mr. J, I'm about to learn that a lot of people want me dead.
Is she doing a different voice than she did last time? Guy. Like slightly, like a little different?
So peaceful. But it turns out that wasn't the only dame in Gotham looking for emancipation.
I gotta get that word in there.
He's after all of us. The kid just robbed him.
Now I want this to be a musical. I think immediately this is a better movie if it's a musical. Bobsledding.
You are so cool. You never. And you're dumb enough to be building a case against him. So, unless we all want to die very unpleasant deaths, we're gonna have to work together.
Sure.
Which person is each of these supposed to... I can't keep... Oh, he's Black Mask. He's wearing a black mask, finally. Look at that. Ow.
Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah. Are we ready?
She's saying psychologist stuff. That's cool. Oh, good. You're telling me who they all are supposed to be. Thank God.
Turn it up.
Oh shit, is that a hyena in a bathtub?
I named him Bruce after that hunky Wayne guy.
Yeah, we knew it. The hyena is laughing. That's good. Well, that looks a little better. I will say that looks a little. Oh, I can hear myself. Okay, I'm gonna bring DJ back. Give me a second. I can hear you, but they can't. Hold on. Okay, or maybe they can. Maybe they could that whole time. I'm actually not totally sure. I guess we'll find out.
They said they couldn't at the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't think they would be able to. Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me, guys? Am I back?
So we got that figured out. We can watch a trailer on the show now.
We gotta figure out where I can talk though, because it would be a lot more fun.
No, I know. I gotta change where you're coming out of. I can do that. I just couldn't do it fast
that
enough.
sounds
Yeah.
unpleasant. Can I talk? Hey, hello? Can you hear me?
Well,
Audience?
So I made a reaction video. I don't know how I feel about that, but
dude, that actually looked kind of. If it's as weird and cartoony as that trailer, that looked kind of fun.
It looks okay. It does.
Yeah.
It's still not what I want, but it doesn't look like a load of crap like I was afraid it would. Like it's got. I don't know. I like the style. I like the sense of style. I like all the jazz stuff. I want it to be a musical now. Like
I know. That would be so cool. A superhero musical is the one thing that we need that we've never gotten.
It's true, we haven't done that. Like, it looks bombastic and like it's not scared to do anything, and that's what you want. And like, you know, Suicide Squad had that to a point, but it also didn't end up making any sense, and it was a jumbled mess. And this looks, I don't know, the advertising anyway looks real confident.
Yeah, that was really cool. I'm a little worried that like most of those scenes are all from like 2 action scenes of what it looked like, so I'm worried that that might not be the whole movie. But if the whole movie was like that, then that would be kind of cool. I
also really appreciate, and I wonder if they did this because of folks like us complaining that nobody's got costumes, so we can't tell who people are supposed to be. I really appreciate that it's like, this is Renee Montoya, okay? And Black Mask has a black mask.
Yeah, that's another thing that people are complaining about, that I wouldn't have anything because I don't know these characters at all, so I can't complain that they look terrible because I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, it's just these are some of my favorite characters, and it's like Cassandra Cain. That's not Cassandra Cain.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I understand that because I've definitely had that with characters that I like a lot,
Daniel
especially
Davis
on the Marvel
says
side.
It'll probably be a mess, and somebody else said, "Well, the Suicide Squad also didn't look like a load of crap." That's all true, but we also have had 3 at least, successful movies at the box office from Warner, so I don't think it'll be incoherent like Suicide Squad, or at least not in the same way.
You asked us our opinion on the trailer, and we gave it. We don't have the opinion on the movie yet.
It looks good, man. Or at least it looks a lot. It looks a lot better than. Yeah, I'm not scared of it in the same way I was anyway. So I don't know. I mean, I also don't want to base too much stuff off trailers, but there are things in that make me go, okay, that looks like it could be fun. So.
Well, guys, that was cool. That was a cool way to end it.
It was. We are past 2 hours, so we're gonna go ahead and quit now. We might do more stuff like that if people want us to do that down the road. Although, like I said, I cringe at the notion of making reaction videos. But if I do such a thing, I'll try to make them as interesting as humanly possible.
I think if we can talk over it, it's not bad.
Yeah. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. We really appreciate all the super chats. Thanks for getting us into a second hour. And next week, it will automatically be a couple of hours at least if you are a patron. We're going to do the 4th episode of Captain Logan After Dark. I can't wait to do that. Those have been so much fun and very revealing. Anyway, thanks a bunch for watching once again, and DJ and I will see you again next Thursday night. Same Cap time, same Cap channel. I was Captain Logan. This was DJ Martinez.
See you later.
Later, folks.